I tell you what, I love the playoffs. It is the best mini competition in English football. It is always so exciting. Whoever wins is going to the Premier League, the best league in the world. They're getting a whole bunch of cash to go spend on players. It will change their trajectory as a club for many, many years to come. And this year we have got a whopping final. Sunderland against Sheffield United. Third against fourth in the league. The teams that feel like the most justified to have ended up in this position. There's a few things I want to go over, a few indicators, a few ways in which I can pretend like I'm going to predict the final result. The first of which is how they've fared against each other this season. And there isn't that much to read into it, to be honest. Sunderland beat Sheffield United 2-1 in January, whereas Sheffield United beat Sunderland 1-0 back in November. A win apiece. And I think Sunderland were much more exciting, playing a better style of football earlier on in the season, especially in these last 2-3 months. They've really started to drop off a little bit. So it's quite hard to predict looking at those results. You look at recent form going into it, I would say Sheffield United were much more comfortable in the playoff semi-finals against Bristol City. They absolutely dominated those games. Performances which should fill their squad with confidence going into the final. Sunderland, it's a tricky one because, in my opinion, Coventry were the better team. But it doesn't really matter who was the better team, does it? It matters who won the game. And Sunderland ended up going through, and they did it in a special way. That last-minute winner in extra time will completely unite the squad. And quite scary, that one. That last-minute winner in extra time against Coventry, having been pretty under the cosh for the majority of both fixtures, will fill that squad with the belief that they can get past just about anybody. However, you do just kind of have to think Sheffield United throughout this season have been way better. But from a personal perspective, I've got to be really honest, I am bored of seeing Sheffield United in the Premier League. I think most Premier League fans will be. I'm a Leeds fan for context, so I'm sure if you're a Sheffield fan, you'll turn this off right now. But I'm kind of thinking that you would even appreciate it. It's going to be similar to Leeds if we go up and go down again. Just like going up, there's not really any big rivalries there for Sheffield. That's the thing that gets me. At least with Leeds, with Sunderland, etc., there's a lot of teams that want to go there and beat them. Imagine Sunderland against Newcastle in the Premier League. That's going to be one of the biggest fixtures. As a neutral, I will 100% want to watch that. However, I want to watch that. Do I want to watch Sheffield United play a single team other than my own? No. Absolutely no chance. Chris Wilder's Sheffield United, I don't want to see them anywhere near the Premier League. Sunderland, a near-on 50,000-seater stadium. It'll bring so much energy, such a passionate fan base. We hear so many people talking about how good the Leeds, the Newcastle, the Liverpool fan bases are, and rightly so. Sunderland would be added to that list and bring a hell of a lot more to the league than Sheffield United. And with the last couple of times that Sheffield have been promoted, they finished rock bottom on 16 and it was 22 or 23 points. It's just, does anyone really want them back in the Prem? I mean, obviously, if you're a Sheffield fan, you won't appreciate that. And I do have to say, putting it more objectively, been a little bit less emotional with it as a Leeds fan, I do appreciate how painful it can be. We went through this last season. We should have got promoted. Based on our points tally, in most championship seasons, we would have earned promotion, and we didn't. We didn't get promoted automatically. We went to Wembley with high hopes. Yes, we were playing Southampton, who had beaten us twice that season, but we thought, come on, we finished above them in the league. This is where it counts. This is where it really matters. And we just didn't really show up. I think that Sheffield, given how well they performed against Bristol, will have enough confidence to show up at Wembley. But it depends what Sunderland side you get, really. They played some fantastic, free-flowing attacking football, especially in the first half of this season. Yes, that's kind of petered out a little bit, but you still see glimpses of it. They've changed the way that they've played in these last couple games against Coventry in the playoffs. They've had a much more defensive setup in order to just completely stop the opposition. And I actually think, if anything, that gives them a little bit more of an advantage because you don't know how they're going to show up to Wembley. Are they going to revert back to what was working for them earlier at the start of the season and really run at Sheffield United, have the young players with the press and the energy constantly going at them? Or are they going to stick with that more defensive approach to the game, kind of trying not to lose and just pick up a goal as opposed to scoring as many but accepting that you'll concede some? How they show up is a bit of a mystery. It's not too dissimilar for Sheffield United, to be honest. Chris Wilder likes to change his lineups a fair bit, but I think it is those lineups. It's the lineups which makes the difference, because Sheffield's quality is undoubtable for this league. Even in their last game against Bristol City, just look at the bench. They've got Ryan Brewster, Callum O'Hare, Raksaki, Tom Davis, Tyrese Campbell, Gilchrist, Rob Holding. So many players that would start for that Sunderland team coming off their bench. That, in and of itself, could be the difference maker here. And it will be. It's just the playoffs though, isn't it? When we're watching that game, you're not thinking about who's on the bench. You're not even really thinking about who's actually on the pitch other than a couple of star players. You're thinking about how can they cope under that pressure. And Sheffield United in the past, in their previous playoff experiences, have not coped well under that pressure. Admittedly, a lot of this squad have never experienced that, but is that a positive or is that a detriment? It's the first time playing at Wembley. It's a massive stadium. It's a daunting place. Happened to Leeds last year. We were great all year, just didn't really show up at Wembley. And I feel like that could happen to either team this way around. I'm hoping, personally, that Sunderland win. But I think, really, that Sheffield United will end up winning and earning promotion to the Premier League. Let me know in the comments. I don't want to look at this in an emotional way. I don't want to be unfair to either team. I just think that Sheffield United's squad, Chris Wilder's very experienced in this league and in scenarios like this. Keep in mind, he's managed in the Premier League. So yes, they may not have played at Wembley a bunch of times, but they've played at the Etihad, they've played at Anfield, they've played at Old Trafford, they've played at the Emirates. This crowd shouldn't scare Sheffield United as much. Sunderland are used to playing in front of a pretty decent-sized crowd. Last game, what were the 45 to 48,000 people at the Stadium of Light? However, it's not all their fans, is it, at Wembley? And maybe that moment, especially given the age of the squad and the lack of experience and lack of bottle that they've shown throughout this championship season, might finally catch up to them. They'll have that belief going into it, but they're going to have to show a hell of a lot of energy, and Sheffield will run at them. Sheffield will have chances in the game. Maybe Sunderland need a little bit of luck. I think Sheffield will win, but my heart goes out to Sunderland. Come on, the boys. I'll be chanting you on. Everyone, please do leave your Championship playoff final predictions in the comments, and do remember to hit like and subscribe. We're going to be talking a hell of a lot about the Championship, the Premier League, the Champions League, all the transfers, everything football over the summer. So if you're a fan of the game, I'm sure that you will be a fan of the channel. I'll catch you again very soon. Peace.